like the little old ladies that are on walkers with me in therapy, we all swear like sailors. When you have a stroke, it's licensed to swear when you have to swear. So that's my excuse.
Oh.
This is the Leave It Better podcast, powered by the Side Out Foundation. Here's your host, Hall of Fame coach, Janice Kruger.
Welcome to the Leave It Better podcast. My guest today is Kathy DeBoer. Kathy is a Hall of Famer, one at her alma mater at Michigan State and also at the University of Kentucky, where she was a coach and also an administrator. She led the American Volleyball Coaches Association as the executive director for 17 years. About 2.5 years ago, Kathy suffered a devastating stroke in which she had to learn how to talk again and regain the use of her right hand. We're going to talk about some of those things today. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
The stroke seemed to be like a huge surprise, of course. You've been so active and physical and healthy. To have that just come upon you and just change your world.
Yeah.
Had you had any kind of doctoring prior to that where maybe your blood pressure was high or was there anything that was going on?
I had a doctor's appointment in August of 2022, the year that I had the stroke. And the doctor says, Kathy, you have had 3 blood pressure readings that are too high. They were in the 140s.
Oh.
Yeah. 140s over 92 or 3 or something like that. I want to put you on medication. I said, I'm not doing it. Tell me what I can do to bring it down. So he said, well, you don't drink too much. You don't smoke. You exercise regularly. You eat healthy relatively. You're doing all the things that we recommend to have your blood pressure in moderation, but it's still too high. And I said, Dr. Tony, I'm not going on medication. What's the worst that can happen to me? And he said, well, high blood pressure increases the likelihood that you have a heart attack or stroke. And I said to him, I swear, I'll take my chances with that. So 3 months later, I have a stroke. I lost.
Yeah.
I went to go see him the next March, and I said, Dr. Tony, do you remember that conversation that we had? He said, yes, I do. And I was whining to him at the time, I want to get off some of this medication. I'm on way too much. And he said, Kathy, you have got to get a clue. Most people die of the kind of stroke, heart attack issue that you had. And you can't do anything but bitch about not getting better faster. Stay on your medication and work on getting better.
Oh God, so, Kathy, thanks for sharing that. I had no clue, but knowing you, I can see that potential.
Well, I said it very hesitantly in March because I was running on the treadmill when I had the stroke. I didn't even know that I had it. My right hand just went limp. Not my arm, my right hand just went limp. And I thought, this is weird. No pain, no symptoms. but breathing hard. I was breathing heavily, like you do when you're running. And I finished the workout. I just had 5 or 6 minutes left.
No.
And well, I didn't have any idea. So I just finished the workout. And then I was having trouble getting dressed because my right hand was just lame. And I finally pulled my pants up and got them buttoned and went upstairs to go wake up my husband. And I realized I couldn't talk.
Oh, wow. So yeah.
I went into the room, the study, and I wrote on a piece of paper, stroke, with my left hand and showed it to him. And he scrambled out of bed and drove me to the emergency room. And that was November 1, 2022.
November
the first
1.
day of the rest of my life.
Yeah, right. Wow, Kathy. So the use of your right hand, your speech, those were the two big things for you.
Yeah. Every day, Janice, I think I can talk. And then I open my mouth and I realize, oh, you're still lame. And I think I can use my hand. And then I pick up something and I drop it.
Oh, really? Okay.
You're still lame. Keep working on it.
Kathy, your speech has, I can really tell from the last few times that we spoke that you've made a lot of progress. I hope you feel that. I can hear it.
Yeah. It's like learning to pass. Just when you think you've got it, it's leaves you. So it's hard to track your own progress every day. But that's why we need coaches. That's why we need therapy people. I've had great therapy people so they can say, oh, this part is better. Yeah, this part is better. And just when you think you've got it, the repair guys came in last week to blow out my HVAC. And they were coming upstairs and we were visiting and they said, what country are you from? We don't recognize your accent. Oh, shit. I thought, I have made so much progress. You still think that I'm from Italy?
I heard your speech at the International Volleyball Hall of Fame that you gave. I listened to your speech there, and that was really a funny time. Anybody that's watching this, you should pull that up if you haven't seen it yet and catch Kathy's speech. And I believe she talks about this exact thing, your new language, which is
Stokely's. I'm from Strokeland. I'm speaking Stokely's. Yeah. And like the little old ladies that are on walkers with me in therapy, we all swear like sailors. When you have a stroke, it's licensed to swear when you have to swear. So that's my excuse.
Oh, so lessons learned. What a career you've had in so many ways. And now we're topping it off with another journey that you were not expecting at all. Definitely refusing to go there. But let me just say a couple of things. I want to go through a few of the accomplishments and things. You and I were at the same AIW tournament competing at nationals in Princeton. And did you go to Texas? Were you in Austin?
Yeah.
So 2 times Nebraska had gone, and we were doing the 50th year for Nebraska, And so we were pulling up all these old roster brochures from those events. And I'm like, Kathy DeBoer, you're there.
Yeah.
So back that far, we came into contact. And I think then the next time for me that I truly remember is when you were coaching at Ferris State, and our Division II teams were competing in a regional event, I believe. And your middle, I had an undersized middle, but you had your middle, you were working us in, the one and then the shoot one, or the little out of the zone.
Yeah.
And I'll be darned if we couldn't catch that. And I felt like, what the heck? So that was sort of the second time. And then you probably don't know about this, but when the job at Kentucky opened up, I also got a call about that job.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I'm pretty happy where I am.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, take over after Mary Jo and Marilyn McGreevy. Are you nuts?
Yeah.
So then walks in Kathy DeBoer, who pushes that envelope, takes the job. You were National Coach of the Year for the AVCA Association that you then ended up being the executive director for. And now I'm going to go into a couple of the awards, like the Michigan State Hall of Fame, the University of Kentucky Hall of Fame, the USA Lifetime Achievement Award, and also just recently the Mennonite. I don't even know how to say that. Mennonite Medallion of Merit for USA Volleyball, where you gave your famous speech. At the University of Kentucky, you not only were the volleyball coach, you ended up being in administration there for a few years. And I think, 18 overall at the University of Kentucky?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I guess I knew business was some part of who you were because damn, you were good at it. And then you took over with the AVCA, and once there, Kathy, like the number of things at that moment in time where you were pulling the sport, make it matter, doing something there that was going to change our sport. Thank God for you. Make it matter, pull communities of volleyball together, all levels, all types, and your mindset to grow, volleyball is and has been so profound. And today we're getting to enjoy all of those things that you were a big part of in bringing to fruition. But, without a doubt, you have been a trailblazer for women, for volleyball. I think pretty much your entire life. I don't see that changing anytime soon. And we can talk about that a little bit. And, we just spoke some about the stroke that you had in 2022, which was then the retirement from AVCA.
Yep.
And now you're progressing forward and working with Love Volleyball. You have that right on your jacket there, and still staying with a purpose of life for yourself. So it's great to have you on the show today, Kathy. You have been someone that has been so inspiring, honestly, for so many. I'm one of those that I just look up to you and have for a very, very long time, Kathy.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. Janice, the saying, life must be lived forward, but it can only be understood backwards, And I came to volleyball, especially the AVCA, at a period where volleyball was organically growing robustly around the country. And I say organically, and my hands show that it was underground because not having a more popular male counterpart made our sport completely unique. So sport has always been, in all cultures, defined as male, primarily. Women were allowed to participate, but they came after. And poorer countries, that's still true. The men get the first chances, the women come later.
Yeah.
So in our country, sport was run by mostly men, and they didn't have a lot of experience with volleyball, so they didn't understand it. So volleyball grew organically underground with girls and women saying, I want to play this sport.
Yeah.
And in 2015, volleyball became the top team sport for girls in U.S. high schools. And when I discovered that, it was a discovery for me. I told everybody I could for the rest of my life because nobody knew that. No one knew that volleyball had grown to be that big. So I came into the AVCA part of my career. I say that I caught the wave. I didn't create the wave. One person doesn't create a wave. All the girls and women and the men and women that coached volleyball created the wave. But I rode the wave that was volleyball.
So I will have to say, not everybody can learn and ride a wave.
Well, I fell off a lot.
Without a doubt, you jump in. In researching you, I want to bring up a name, and I think this person may have been a role model for you. Her name was Dr. Nell Jackson.
Yeah.
And I did some reading with her and just what she had done. And for you, she was according to what I read, a pretty significant person in your life. Can you just give me, we can look at this as what got you going, and now people are looking to you for their inspiration that's going to move them forward. What can you say about Dr. Nell Jackson, who died way too early, by the way?
She was an elite track athlete.
Olympian.
In her own right. She had a PhD. She was one of the early African American women hired into athletic leadership. She was in charge of the women's department, and when they combined the departments, she was an associate athletics director at Michigan State.
Yeah.
And she was also the track coach at the time. When I was a senior, Title IX was passed as part of the education amendments in 1972. And I was a senior in college in 1978. And I thought, this law was passed 6 years ago. What are we doing? We are not doing enough. It's supposed to be equal at this point. It's not. And so I and a few basketball teammates sued Michigan State based on unfair treatment. We didn't tell the coach, and that allowed the coach to keep her job. Mm-hmm. But Nell Jackson was told by the AD, get with these women and shut them up. Nell,
she didn't have it.
Got with us, and she said, keep going, under her breath. She was understated. She was very quiet. She was a very elegant woman and a presence. She went back to the AD and she said, these are rabble-rousers. I can't work with them. But she quietly told us, keep pushing. Mm-hmm. And that eventually cost her her job. She was sidelined in the department. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a person that stood for a lot of things. She sacrificed herself, and she died very young.
Yeah.
In the scope of things, but she was an impactful person for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I did some more reading just even to learn more about her. And I was so thankful that I ran across that and I got to, to read about this woman who was there at Michigan State. And then you were a part of that. So I think you've been a little bit rebellious.
No.
I'm guessing. Oh, God. What were you like as a kid? What? Yeah.
My parents just shook their heads and said, we can't control her either. No, we give up.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people probably aren't aware, your athleticism. And I heard this from several people as I've been talking to some of the lates and greats of volleyball, that you were quite the basketball player and played in the National Pro League for the Minnesota Phillies, I think, for a couple years as a forward. And then I think I also heard, how tall are you, Kathy?
I'm just 5'10".
5'10".
Oh, shrimp, libero side. No.
Yeah, you are a libero. Yep. Okay. So anyhow, that when you took off and you just jumped up and back in that time, we didn't have Vertex and things like that to measure jump. It was just going after that basketball rim.
Yeah.
And I believe you were somebody that just kind of took off and went up there and grabbed a hold of that thing. And that's pretty impressive, Kathy. You literally embody so many wonderful things.
Well, one of them is I had a big butt. So
you had the muscles.
I had a jumper's butt. I don't know where it came from, but I had the physique to be a jumper. So I was blessed in that way. That's from your parents. You don't have anything to do with that. But I was competitive. I'm the oldest. I'm the second of two. And my sister was really skilled, piano player, and she was smart. And I just couldn't keep up with her at all. So I didn't try. So she wasn't athletic and she wasn't interested in that. So I went
in that direction.
My path.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stand to not be better than her. So I wasn't in anything that she did. So I went my own way.
Yeah. So Kathy, let's, this is about your volleyball. Truly thank you for all of that. And I hope everybody that's listening can understand your contributions to so many things with this, with the NCAA, with the growth of volleyball, with club, with high school, with coaches. It just is, it's pretty massive. And I want to talk about now, 2.5 years ago, your life changed.
I was running on the treadmill in my basement and I had a stroke. Go figure. Blood was pooling in the left ventricle of my heart, and it threw a clot into my brain. I lost the ability to speak, and I lost the use of my right hand. It shows God has a sense of humor, don't you think? All I did for a living is write and talk, and I couldn't do either one of them. So, it's God saying, what are you going to do now, girlfriend? You're lame.
You have been challenged. I'm sure that's it. You've been challenged. And the other thing about you, Kathy, that you have always had humor. Like, you look at things. You and Terry Pettit tell some of the best stories I've probably heard in the sport of volleyball. And, one of those was the incident with the trophy getting second place and the van kind of bopping along. And just kind of happy. And you stopped on this bridge where there are boats and things flowing underneath of it. And you said to your assistant, roll down the window and take this second place trophy and throw it over the side.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those players' eyes were like dollar bills.
I said to the players, that's what I think about second place. It's not good enough. So we went back to campus, and on Monday, I came back to my office, and I had a police officer sitting, the head of the campus police was in my office, and he said, can I see you for a minute? I got a call from a friend of mine. It was just a courtesy call. He's the chief of police in Ashland, Kentucky, and he got a report from a boat that was traveling down the Ohio River on a Sunday night, just a nice day, and they were hit by something that flew off the bridge. And the only thing on the bridge, the only vehicle, was a University of Kentucky van. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can you remember, sort of what happened to you? Like, were you just flushed up or?
Yes. I thought I was going to jail. I thought I had killed somebody, and I thought I deserved to go to jail. I didn't think about hitting anything on the river. I said, oh my God, I didn't mean to hurt anybody. And he said, oh, just tell me the story, Coach. And I said, my assistant threw it. I said, okay, I ordered her to. It was on me, handcuff me, take me to jail. And he finally said, well, that's not necessary, Coach, because there was no boat. Your players sent me over here to pull a prank on you. There was no boat. There was no call. Just don't throw things into the river, especially trophies.
Oh, God. What year was that, Kathy? Do you remember the year?
1991, early 1990.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Wow. How fun. Well, thanks for sharing that. So now we kind of talked through our volleyball stuff. And now let's go into your life and really, the changes for you and maybe what you've learned. I mean, you are sort of a constant learner, teacher. Can we talk a little bit about this new space that you're in that may help other folks that go through really tough situations and have to find their way in a different reality?
Yeah, well, like I said, I have had great therapists. But what I have realized, and I kind of knew it before when I was teaching people how to pass or how to hit the ball down the line. People learn in different ways. An example, when I was in speech therapy, my speech therapist was teaching me how to say the word multiplication. I was struggling with that word. And she says, form the M, to pop the T and then pull your tongue back, pla, 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 case, shun. And I said, Rachel, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I said, let me tell you how to hit a volleyball. Okay? Your dominant arm, your elbow has to be above your shoulder, and your hand has to be above your elbow. And you pull it back like a bow and arrow, keeping your hand high. And then you rotate your shoulder so that it's going forward. And then at the top of your jump, you hit the ball at the top and finish with your hand. And she says, Kathy, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I said, well, yeah, touche. That was how I taught 12-year-olds to hit a volleyball. It just doesn't work. So, and she said, what does work? And I said, I have to close my eyes and I have to feel the word in my mouth. Multiplication, and say it. So for me, it was a feel with the word. So the point of the story is that players, we all learn different ways. And as much as the science of motor learning is developed, we don't understand it. I was working on a thing with my hand therapist.
Yeah.
Turning this effing little cup upside down. So I can't do it. I just can't do it. It requires moving my fingers independently, and I can't do it without cheating. So, and I said to my therapist, Kylie, I said, wouldn't it be nice if the science of neural development could take a picture of my brain and figure out why this index finger won't move and make it move. Yeah, we don't know what growing new neural pathways is incredibly slow. It has been 2.5 years, and I still can't turn this effing little cup upside down. Growing new neural pathways takes a long, long time. And so for all of us as learners, the point of this part of the story is that we have to do hard things. When we age, I'm almost 70. When we age, we do the same things that we're comfortable with every day. Yeah. We drive the same way to the store. Why we buy the same things. We often say, oh, I'm not good at that. I'm not good at technology. I'm not good at ukulele. I'm not good at piano playing. Whatever it is, I'm not good at with an iPhone. Well, that we have to realize that's a choice.
Yeah.
That's simply a choice. Unless we have a neurological issue, it's a choice to just not work on turning this cup over with my hand. It's a choice. I can do it. I will be able to do it. But doing hard things every day to challenge yourself. And it can be a lot of different ways. So my music therapist, I was just playing scale. Da, 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 da. It was comfortable. I could do it. I could do it maybe a little faster. And she said to me, Kathy, play this piece. I said, I haven't practiced it. And she said, just sight read it. It was terrible. I made tons of mistakes. And she said, play the scale and then sight read a piece of music. That's random practice.
Okay.
The scale is blocked practice. When you feel unsure of yourself, play scales so that you can feel comfortable that you can do things. But immediately thereafter, do something that you can't do. Because when your brain scales, your brain is on pause. I know how to do this. Yeah. And when you sight read a piece or play the scales a different way, you have to continue to engage your brain to make it work. Mm-hmm. That's the point of random practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It also is pretty tiring, I think, when you challenge your
it's exhausting.
And learn something new.
In the beginning, when I couldn't talk very well at all, I've become a mortal mouse. I've returned to my mortal mouse ways. But in the beginning, I had, when I would go to therapy, I had to come home and take a nap. I was just exhausted. I was so worn out. So
concentration.
Working your brain takes energy. It takes a lot of energy. But I challenge coaches, don't just do this with your players. Pick a hard thing that you can't do and do different things every day. Do it a different way. Challenge your brain. Mm-hmm. Just like you're challenging your players.
Mm-hmm. I think we do have a few coaches that have been pretty good at doing that. And one of those is John Cook, who recently retired, but he's always trying to find something to keep him in the right space of understanding learning and riding a horse or roping or whatever that might be. But that's an interesting lesson that you have to learn at this moment in your life, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't recommend having a stroke to learn about learning.
Yes.
But one of the advantages of having this stroke for me has been I've learned a lot about learning that I didn't know. I kind of knew before, but I've experienced it. And it's made me a lot more empathetic with the processes of learning and of teaching kids. When I was coaching, I was just a bitch. When they couldn't do it, I would just scream at them, That was coaching. That was coaching back then. But now I encourage coaches to develop your coaching eye. If if sounding it out doesn't work, ask your players to visualize them doing something or show them it on film. Show them the way. Try different ways of learning and different methods.
Yeah. watching the athletes and some of the interviews that the athletes now that they're giving and the, the opportunities, the experiences they have had, and where they are in the world with their development sometimes just blows me away from where we were starting. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And, I think one of the pieces that happened when you were part of the AVCA, well, you're still always part of the AVCA, but running it, is that you really got the education part and for coaches, you focused on them as well to help them grow and become, excellent teachers and coaches for the young folks that we're all talking and training.
Well, I believed that there can never be too much education. So I partnered, while I was at the AVCA, I partnered with everybody. CAP, Art of Coaching, Gold Medal Squared, high school clinics. I believe that there couldn't be too much coaching education. And I made the convention all about coaching education. Mm-hmm. It's 3 days of immersion in coaching with no families, no matches, no scouting, no recruiting. Just talk about volleyball for 3 or 4 consecutive days. Yeah, it's like heaven for volleyball.
Yeah.
And it was for me too.
Yeah, me too. So one other area that you are in, because you were talking about just got to keep purpose in your life when you're retired. So you're retired, sort of.
Yeah, I'm retired.
You're retired. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and run anymore. That's retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are working for an organization called Love. And I believe it's part of the foundation, which works in raising funds for club programs.
Yeah. Well, Janice, the reason I threw my hat in with Love is it's going all the way back to where we started.
Yeah.
Volleyball is unique in that it's the only sport that has grown to mainstream status on the bodies of girls and women.
Yeah. Good point.
To me, that required a different model for starting a pro league. We don't have the NBA. We don't have Major League Soccer. We don't have baseball. And so the Love model of starting with the girls' junior clubs and growing the sport from there, the organic way and the bottom up, and then launching the pro league on top of it, I think gives us the biggest chance for success. I hope the other leagues succeed. And I don't want anybody to fail. I don't want any women's sport to fail. The better everybody does, the better we are all off in women's sports. But I thought the Love business model was brilliant. Mm-hmm. So when they asked me to chair their foundation board, I initially said, no way, I can't even effing talk. So then they asked me again, and Janice, I have spent most of my career telling mostly young women, let the marketplace decide when you're ready. If they ask you, you're ready. So I was not following my own advice. So I called them back and I said, I'll do it. I can't effing talk, but I'll do it. I'll try it. Yeah. So the foundation is, the mission is to increase access for under-resourced kids to experience volleyball, both in the clubs and in their schools, in clinics, introducing them to volleyball. Both the talented ones and the kids that are just loving the sport. They are never going to, which is 95% of the population, they are never going to go anywhere but maybe their high school JV team. We want them to love to play volleyball. And the community building aspect of the sport, the friendship building aspects of the sport, to be able to experience us. So I'm chairing the foundation board. We have 8 people, 5 board members, and 3 athletes.
Okay.
On the board. Jordan Larson, Logan Eggleston, and Eric Chaudry are our athletes on the board. And it feels like trying to eat an elephant. Love has 70 clubs. They are all over the country. People are all over the country. But how do you do it? Well, one bite at a time. So I'm enjoying this work. It's giving me purpose. And to your point earlier, I want to be remembered not for what I have done, but for what I'm doing now. The career things, I had a great run. I made a difference, but that stuff is done. The future impact that I want to have, I want to be remembered for that.
You're a keeper, Kathy. We're lucky to have you in our sport, in our world.
The Side Out Foundation, we had a partnership with the organization for years, and it's been an impactful, different maker in the lives of women and their children and their families. It's extended the lives of so many people. And the amazing thing about the Side Out Foundation, you can make an impact even if you don't have billions.
Yeah.
The Side Out Foundation is an example of that. You have made a difference in breast cancer research, cutting edge stuff with a bunch of volleyball people, a bunch of volleyball kids and their coaches raising money for the foundation. And you have made a really impactful difference. All of us can learn from the example that you have set of extending life. Don't take no for an answer. Lean in.
Yeah. Lean
into the right things. Lean into the possible. And you have done that very well with Side Out.
Yeah.
And congratulations for that. Yeah. I know you're not done.
Thank you, Kathy. I really appreciate that. This is for me, when I retired from coaching, this is where I landed. And I truly have been inspired and motivated by the Dunnitz family and what they've been able to set up and have. And now we're at that phase where those with metastatic breast cancer can be a part of our research that gives them, the best treatment solutions for them right away. And that's, for me, and with that, Kathy, is that we're doing that, but also learning and developing and finding things that maybe could change other parts of research in breast cancer or in cancer. So the world of volleyball is impacting our opportunities to do that. And I know it's been a great ride for me. I still work on it every day and love doing it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really, this has been fun, and we've been chatting about this for a while. You are the person I call. I think you probably are for a lot of people, just like someone to speak to with this incredible knowledge. So thank you, Kathy. I truly think you're inspiring for a lot of folks, and I appreciate your time here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please share your feedback with us at side-out.org.
like the little old ladies that are on walkers with me in therapy, we all swear like sailors. When you have a stroke, it's license to swear when you have to swear. So that's my excuse.
Oh.
I said to the players, that's what I think about second place. It's not good enough. So we went back to campus, and on Monday, I came back to my office and I had a police officer sitting. The head of the campus police was in my office, and he said, "Can I see you for a minute? I got a call from a friend of mine. It was just a courtesy call. He's the chief of police in Ashland, Kentucky, and he got a report from a boat that was traveling down the Ohio River on a Sunday night, just a nice day, and they were hit by something that flew off the bridge. And the only thing on the bridge, the only vehicle, was a University of Kentucky van. Do you know anything about that?"
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can you remember, like, sort of like what happened to you? Like, were you just like flushed up, or?
Oh,
like,
yes. I thought I was going to jail. I thought I had killed somebody, and I thought I deserved to go to jail. I didn't think about hitting anything on the river. I said, "Oh my God, I didn't mean to hurt anybody." And he said, "Oh, just tell me the story, Coach." And I said, "My assistant threw it." I said, "Okay, I ordered her to. It was on me. Handcuff me, take me to jail." And he finally said, "Well, that's not necessary, Coach, because there was no boat. Your players sent me over here to pull a prank on you. There was no boat. There was no call. Just don't throw things into the river, especially trophies." I believed that there can never be too much education. So I partnered, while I was at the AVCA, I partnered with everybody. CAP, Art of Coaching, Gold Medal Squared, high school clinics, I believe that there couldn't be too much coaching education. And I made the convention all about coaching education. Mm-hmm. It's 3 days of immersion in coaching with no families, no matches, no scouting, no recruiting. Just talk about volleyball for 3 or 4 consecutive days. Yeah, it's like heaven for volleyball.
Yeah.
And it was for me too.